and call now.
Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
We are heating up. Temperatures already in the 90s, and it could be one of the hottest 4th of Julys on record. I'll let you know where there's a chance of storms and who's in the clear tonight coming up.
A different type of Independence Day celebration is underway in one Wake County town. Knightdale opted for a daytime event this year versus fireworks at night.
Plus, Operation Dry Water is in full effect for the holiday weekend. While it might sound like an oxymoron, the annual campaign could prove to be a lifesaver.
Now, a lot of times we'll show you the beach cams up and down the Carolina coast, but we want to show you the crowds right now at Myrtle Beach. Look at that. It is definitely the place to be to keep cool on this 4th of July. Why are we not there? Oh, that's right. We're holding down the fort today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
Because we're here. I'm right. Jeff Hogan. Thanks for joining us. Near record highs and the possibility of rain are expected in parts of our viewing area. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how it could affect our plans.
Man, Myrtle Beach looks awfully inviting. That's where I spent all my childhood 4th of Julys. Today, it is hot around here. It is noon, and check out the temperature, 95 degrees right now in Raleigh at Dix Park, where they've got their fireworks celebration tonight. The sun sets at 8:35. Fireworks kick off there around 9:30. 95 in the Triangle, the heat index up to 104, and we still have hours for these numbers to climb. It feels like 99 in Clinton right now. Feels like 97 in Fayetteville. If you're grilling out tonight, 6 o'clock, you've got dry weather, so I don't think you're going to be dodging any rain for dinner time cookouts. Temperatures are in the low to mid 90s at that time, so still very hot with a heat index near 100. But I've looked over the new model data this afternoon, and storm chances are highest between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. From the Triangle North, it's a 30% chance of storms. Our southern counties, Goldsboro, a 0% chance, and only a 20% chance in Rocky Mount. Here's the new model data, and we get a new update every hour. Dry through 5, 6 o'clock. If we were to see any storms at 7 o'clock, I think it would be Person County and Orange County. And models are a bit more optimistic with those storms fading, but I do think we've got so much energy in the atmosphere. There's a small chance of them holding together. Luckily, I don't think you need to cancel your fireworks celebrations. They would pass through quickly. I'll have a closer look at the rest of your weekend ahead.
Kat, thanks. One town decided not to wait until dusk to celebrate our nation's independence. Instead, it opted for a family-friendly 4th of July without fireworks. WRAL's Sean Gallagher is live in Knightdale, where this event is going on right now. And Sean, this is the first year the town is celebrating this way. Looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's right, Renee. That scare last year led them to cancel the fireworks this year. But you can see here behind me, that has not canceled the celebration. The daytime party well underway with a ton of people here. They got live music, as you can hear, food trucks, and so many people celebrating America the best way they know how, by being united. But it was a different story last year. You may remember seeing this video showing people at the event running from what many believe to be gunfire after someone set off a fountain firework in the middle of a crowd. Knightdale acknowledged the disappointment of not having fireworks this year, but for the people here today, this event is allowing them to start their 4th of July even sooner than they thought.
We were just looking to take it easy, and this was out here, so we swung on by. We were parking the car, saw the commotion, all the excitement, and stopped, and it's been a lot of fun to just walk through, visit some of the vendors, and it's a great start of the 4th of July.
I'm not too mad about it, and I think I'm going to Wendell tonight, so still get to see fireworks. So
it's nice to have somewhere during the day, because I feel like a lot of people just do fireworks at night, so it's good to switch it up sometimes.
And this event runs for about another hour, and the people I spoke to say their day is just getting started. None of them were really too disappointed about fireworks not happening here in Knightdale. There are so many opportunities for people to see fireworks around the area that they'll definitely be able to enjoy the rest of the day. But for now, Sean Gallagher, WRAL News, Knightdale.
Members of a Raleigh community tried to beat the heat with an early morning celebration of our nation's independence. Bikes, trikes, scooters, and strollers were welcome at a parade through the West Wind neighborhood. They've been doing this for decades, and it grows each year. The Durham Highway Fire Department also helped to make sure that it was safe for everybody.
If you plan to spend the holiday weekend boating at an area lake, we have a warning for you. Operation Dry Water is now in effect. The annual campaign promotes sober boating during the holiday. WRAL's Liz McLaughlin is live at Jordan Lake with a look at the effort to keep people safe. Liz, good afternoon.
Good afternoon and happy 4th. This is one of the busiest times of year out here on the lake. We're at Poe's Ridge Boat Ramp, and I'm here with Shannon Manus, the Chief Ranger with the Army Corps of Engineers. And it's pretty full parking lot here.
Yes, ma'am. It's completely full today for sure. It's been full since about 9 o'clock this morning, and I expect that throughout the weekend. If you plan on coming and visiting here at Jordan Lake, make sure you come early and make sure you plan to bring plenty of sunscreen. It is hot and warm out today. Bring your hydration with you. Make sure you have something to drink, and make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen. That's for one thing that will be certainly for sure.
And it is very hot. I'm sweating right now. What about some other safety tips for the water? I know we've been seeing an increased presence of law enforcement here.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, right now the Operation Dry Run is on its way and on duty today as well throughout the weekend. They are out in force to make sure the boating regulations are being followed. So if you're having your alcohol, make sure you're not operating the vessel. The same rules and regulations apply as if you are operating a vehicle. So be safe when you're out on the water. Enjoy your time, but make sure you're a responsible boat captain and don't try to drive and operate a boat. Even out on the lake, the waves and the heat intensify the effect of alcohol. So make sure you're not operating the boat if you're partaking in the alcoholic beverages.
So get that designated driver, just like a car. 0.08 is the limit, and that BUI arrest and up to $1,000 in fines, up to 60 days in jail. So have that designated driver, celebrate, have fun. Back to you guys.
All right, I'll take it from here, Liz. Good afternoon. I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center. We have a breaking update into the newsroom in the past 15 minutes. We have learned that Ernesto Torres was arrested. This is the man accused of killing 32-year-old Aaron Heath. He's accused of stabbing him, in fact, and Heath later died at the hospital. Investigators are saying that surveillance cameras have key evidence of the crime. Torres was charged with carrying a concealed weapon, assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, and misdemeanor larceny. Police say that Heath got into a fight with someone when he stabbed and later died in the hospital. But again, we know that Ernesto Torres has been charged in this case, but not with murder. We're still trying to get more information on that. It's been a bit of a tragic day for the family of the victim because we talked to them earlier this week and they were devastated that this happened.
We're working to learn the name of the man who died from driving off the road in what troopers say was a stolen car. This happened on Cleveland Road in Johnston County, west of Smithfield, around 1 o'clock this morning. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video of damage to the vehicle. An official on the scene tells us a woman was also in the car. Investigators say she seemed, quote, dazed and confused when they talked to her. We're also working to learn more about this crash that left a vehicle overturned as well. The WRAL breaking news tracker got this video last night around 11. The vehicle crashed along I-40 near US 1, and you can see the windshield in front of the vehicle destroyed. We'll let you know more about the driver, their condition, and if any charges will be filed.
If you're still looking for some 4th of July fun, the Durham Bulls have you covered. You can grab a hot dog, watch a baseball game, and then afterwards there'll be a fireworks show. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey was at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park this morning with details of tonight's festivities.
Happy 4th from the DBAP. Tonight's Bulls game is going to be the perfect way to spend the 4th with your family. And of course, the ballpark is empty right now, but in just a few hours, this place is going to be packed with fans ready to enjoy some baseball and an epic fireworks show. Check it out. Now that's the sound of the 4th of July. You're looking at video now from last year. Buying a ticket to tonight's game will guarantee your seat for the fireworks show. Gates will open for general admission at the end of the 7th inning to watch the show, but space inside the ballpark is limited. Tickets are still available online, and that game will start tonight at 6:35, and the fireworks show is scheduled for tonight at 9:15. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
July 4th is also Free Fishing Day in North Carolina. Anyone in the state will be able to fish in public waters without a license today. North Carolina General Assembly first authorized free fishing in 1994. It allows both new and frequent fishers to enjoy their Independence Day with time on the water. If you're fishing, you still have to follow all the other fishing limits and regulations.
Wake County Deputy Ned Bird and Raleigh Police Officer Gabe Torres were honored this morning during a somber ceremony. Both died in the line of duty in 2022. The group Beyond the Call of Duty set up this rolling memorial outside the sheriff's office. It's on a 73-day journey to honor fallen officers nationwide. Members have traveled more than 23,000 miles, making hundreds of stops across the country. Raleigh Police Chief Estella Patterson and Wake County Sheriff Willie Rowe spoke during this morning's event.
Two amazing men who served this community well, who gave everything so that we can be free today.
We are just grateful for this opportunity to gather here on the Independence Day to celebrate the greatness of this nation, the greatness of the men and women who serve and protect and who give it their all.
That traveling memorial is set to arrive at the Greensboro Police Department and Forsyth County Sheriff's Office later today.
Next at noon, a NASA crew is back from Mars. Sort of. What was accomplished in a simulated trip to the red planet without ever leaving Earth.
Also, Hurricane Beryl has left Jamaica with death and destruction in its wake. We'll look at the damage and track the path ahead.
Plus, a fire takes out a fireworks show in Massachusetts. At 12:30, how this barge blaze nixed the night of fun that was planned.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
We give you this live look right now at Carolina Beach as you are watching WRAL News, available on Hulu and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Hard to find a spot out there today.
Hope they are enjoying their day. More news to tell you about. The people who planned the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, have been ordered by a federal appeals court to pay money to the victims. The white supremacist and nationalist groups will have to pay more than $2 million toward the people who suffered physical or emotional injuries during the rally. One person was killed and nearly 20 others were injured after a man drove his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. He's currently serving a life sentence for murder and hate crimes. The FDA is investigating a death possibly linked to Diamond Shrooms edibles. All of Profit Premium's Diamond Shrooms products have been recalled after nearly 50 illnesses and even one death possibly associated with eating these edibles. The company confirmed higher than normal levels of the mushroom toxin mucimol have been found in the product. Symptoms include abnormal heart rates, confusion, and seizures.
4 NASA astronauts, volunteers who spent more than a year living inside NASA's Mars habitat, are getting back to normal this weekend. The simulated mission to Mars began at Johnson Space Center in Houston June 25th last year. The 3D printed habitat spanned 1,700 square feet and simulated a realistic Mars environment. The crew simulated operations and conditions, including communication delays with Earth. NASA will use the data from this mission to determine how to support crews during an actual mission to the red planet. People in Mexico and Texas are getting ready for a direct strike from Hurricane Beryl. The storm has diminished now to a Category 3 status, but still is expected to cause widespread damage. Beryl slammed Jamaica as a massive Category 4 storm, causing a dangerous storm surge, bending power lines, knocking out electricity. Rafael Romo reports that at least 2 more deaths have been reported in Jamaica.
It was one of the most powerful hurricanes that I've ever seen. Beryl hammered the island with torrential rains and devastating winds. And just take a look at what's behind me. This is a boat that was pushed by the strong winds from across the bay. It made it crash against the old pier here in the downtown area in Kingston, the capital of Jamaica. And it finally ended up sinking after several hours of being pounded by the wind. And the Jamaican Prime Minister says that this is his country is only beginning what he called the second phase of this disaster and the relief efforts. He also said that about 500 people were displaced by the hurricane and are now in shelters. He also said that there's been damage to infrastructure in coastal areas. So we can talk a lot about what we have seen as well, which is down power lines and trees, also debris across the island. You see what happened to the boat right there. And the Prime Minister says that in any case, his country is prepared to face the challenges ahead. Beryl is now pounding the Cayman Islands. It's going to go on to Mexico and then become a threat for parts of Texas in the next few days.
Yeah, those islands, so pretty when it's nice out, but such devastation when those hurricanes rip through the Caribbean.
Yeah, they are no stranger to hurricanes, and this is high tourism season for Jamaica and the Caribbean right now. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is tracking Hurricane Beryl. Where is it now?
Well, it's headed for the Cayman Islands next and Mexico, and we're talking making landfall again pretty close to Cancun. So more popular vacation spots during the heart of the travel season will be impacted. It's holding on to Category 3 status right now. Top winds 115 miles per hour, but it's just barely holding on to that Cat 3 status. Moving to the west-northwest, and eventually after making landfall in Mexico, it is expected to make landfall again along the Texas and Mexico border. And as it does, it may be a Category 1 hurricane again. It has a little bit of time to re-strengthen as it moves across the Gulf. Still, the biggest impact is going to be the heavy rain that South Texas sees from this system. We're talking 5 or more inches of rain. This bullseye here, 8 to 10 inches of rain in northern Mexico. And for us here locally, we are looking at the heat, though. That high pressure system that's steering Beryl is bringing us dangerous heat. 101 is the record high for today at RDU. That was back in 2012, but I think that we're going to tie in second place for the hottest July 4th. 99 degrees is what we're forecasting today. And we've had that 3 other years as well out in the triangle. The pool planner today, this is where you want to be to cool down. 90s across the board throughout the afternoon. 97 at 3 o'clock, 99 by 4 o'clock. It's already 95 in Durham. The sun sets at 8:35 in Durham, and the Bulls are gearing up for their fireworks after the game tonight. And when we see the first pitch at 6:35, I would expect pretty dry weather, only a 20% storm chance. If you were to see a storm, it would be 8, 9 o'clock, and any small chances of storms would be over by the time we get to the fireworks at the Bulls tonight. So you are in luck if you are headed out that way. I think you're going to be okay. For future casts tomorrow, we have another chance for a few thunderstorms. 100 is our forecast high tomorrow. And if we look at these storms, they could pop up a little earlier in the afternoon tomorrow into the evening hours before fading by about 10 p.m. Saturday, I will say this before we go too far out in this particular model run, it tends to overdo storm coverage 2 days out. However, we do have a front coming that should act as a basis for these storms to fire up along. So I kind of wanted to show you worst case scenario here. We're going to get in some new high resolution model data for Saturday this afternoon, and we will update our storm chances hour by hour for the weekend accordingly. So be sure to check in on WRAL News starting at 4 o'clock or all day on WRAL News Plus, especially if you have outdoor plans. Looking ahead, storm chances go up this weekend, and they stay higher on Sunday as well due to that front. That may help to hold temperatures back a little bit, as we could see some of that rain earlier in the day Sunday. We will take it, right? We've got more 90s on the way next week and a pretty unsettled forecast, but we need the rain, so it's good news.
All right, Kat, thank you. The Summer Olympic Games are just a few weeks away. Many of the best swimmers in the world are in our area preparing for the competition in Paris. Today on our news at 4, we'll hear from Katie Ledecky as she works to earn a 4th straight gold medal in the 800-meter freestyle.
And then at 5, the North Carolina History Museum hasn't switched around its exhibits in decades, and that's about to change. We'll show you some of the upgrades and when it will be open to the public. Also, Ford is recalling tens of thousands of Mustangs, the issue that could put drivers in danger and what the company is doing to correct the problem.
Some shoppers are noticing changes at the checkout, why some stores are removing the self-checkout lines.
You've seen them in stores for years now, those self-checkout lanes meant to help speed up your shopping. But lately, more stores are bringing back the human touch. Brian Chung explains why.
Do it yourself. That's the idea behind self-checkout lanes. A way to skip the pleasantries and skate out of the store quickly.
Super fast, easy, convenient.
But more and more stores are now hitting cancel on those self-checkout machines.
Item canceled.
Dollar General says it has pulled self-checkout from about 12,000 stores. And Five Below hoping to eliminate self-checkout options in its highest risk locations. Both companies saying theft is the main reason, as 15% of users confess to purposely stealing at the self-checkout lane.
Entering in a cheaper type of produce when they're scanning their groceries, or just pretending to scan something and just bagging it anyway. It's one area where retailers are noticing too much that.
Then there's the user experience. For shoppers, self-checkout is supposed to offer the convenience of just scanning and then going. But sometimes it ends up being more trouble than it's worth.
Please wait for assistance.
Definitely where I have to wait for someone to come in and fix it, and it's just a waste of time.
The solution? Bringing sales associates back.
Is more profitable for the retailer to pay employees to manage checkout than it is to support the machines where they're probably getting less than accurate checkouts from consumers.
Self-checkout isn't going away, though. It's on the rise at grocery stores, making up 44% of transactions last year. If your store decided to take out all those self-checkout lanes and put in regular lanes,
I'd be really disappointed.
A battle of humans versus machines playing out in the checkout line. Brian Chung, NBC News, New York.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Loving, back in the WRAL Live Center. We have a live look right now in downtown Raleigh. What you're seeing here is what was just completed, the naturalization ceremony for 25 new Americans. This is something that has happened in Raleigh for quite some time. It's a tradition. The Capitol is playing host to this. 19 different nationalities are being represented during this, and 25 people are a part of this ceremony. They just had the Declaration of Independence that was read there, and they've just had the oath that was just read a little bit ago. And it's beautiful to see this just because we're on the 4th of July today, and so we're celebrating all things American, including new Americans.
I love that. Thank you. Ford is recalling more than 30,000 Mustangs because a steering sensor could result in a crash. Mustangs made between 2022 and 23 may have a sensor that was improperly calibrated, potentially causing the wheel to move side to side involuntarily. So far, there have not been any reports of crashes or injuries. Customers can have the software updated for free at a Ford dealer. Owners of affected cars will get a notification by mail.
Heat warnings and watches are in effect for millions of people across the country. Next, the steps authorities are taking to protect people while they celebrate 4th of July.
And researchers have found about a third of tattoo inks contain bacteria, the reaction most people had to the contaminated ink. But first, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
Answers. Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Americans are ready to celebrate the 4th of July while monitoring high temperatures and a major hurricane.
Unfortunately, most of the celebrations take place once the sun goes down. NBC's Emily Ikeda takes a look at major celebrations across the nation and security measures.
With just hours to go before fireworks light up the night skies, many Americans are waking up to a holiday heat wave. More than 100 million under heat alerts this July 4th. A stifling heat also fueling wildfires in California, thousands evacuating in Oroville, with warnings in other parts of the state ahead of the holiday. While across the country, final preparations are underway to celebrate America's independence. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security telling local police to stay vigilant during large celebrations and that the biggest threat comes from lone wolves. But according to a law enforcement source, the bulletin meant for New York was not sent out nationwide, and there are no credible terror threats for the holiday. In New York City, a 25-minute fireworks show will take place over the Hudson River for the first time since 2013. The NYPD says it will have a strong presence deployed to keep viewing areas secure.
The men and women of the NYPD will be out there.
It comes as nearly 71 million are traveling this week, according to AAA, which says expect lots of company, whether you're hitting the highways, I hate traffic, or flying to your vacation getaway. Though the record-setting season is not without travel headaches. A flight heading to Amsterdam Wednesday was diverted to JFK because of spoiled food served on board. Delta apologizing to its customers. Overnight in Washington, a dress rehearsal for the Capitol's July 4th celebration. Expected to bring a huge crowd to the National Mall for music and, of course, the fireworks, where a family business, now in its 4th generation, has been designing the colorful display over DC's iconic landmarks for more than a decade.
It's an epic moment, and it never gets old.
The annual fireworks show along the North Shore in Massachusetts will not take place tonight after flames erupted early this morning on the fireworks barge. Thousands usually show up for this display in Marblehead, Massachusetts, just 15 miles north of Boston. A person who lives near that harbor says he heard the harbor master tell crews to let the fire burn itself out. Last year's show was canceled due to fog. The cause of this fire is under investigation.
Well, the show is on for the July 4th fireworks show at Dorothea Dix Park in Raleigh. The fun starts tonight at 6. You can expect music, games, plenty of food. The fireworks will start at 9:30. A reminder, there will be no parking at Dix Park. There is free parking at downtown parking decks and NC State Centennial Campus, so you can then walk over. Free shuttles will take people from Moore Square over to Dix Park starting at 5:30. Wake Forest held its annual July 4th Kids Parade this morning. Kids showed up on their bikes. They lined up on North Main Street for the parade route. Yeah, use the wagon too. I'd do that. The fun continued with the festival in Holding Park at Heritage High School.
Gun violence is on the rise across the country, but new data reveals it's most prevalent during the summer. Gary Baumgarten explains why.
While summer is a time for fun in the sun, data from the Gun Violence Archive reveals this season is rife with shootings, citing how the months of June, July, and August have had the highest total number of mass shootings over the past decade.
It's an epidemic out here with this crime. You know, we're battling it every day.
The nonprofit organization reports that throughout the last 10 years, the 4th of July was the #1 day for mass shootings involving 4 or more people.
For my family, this 4th of July is the 730th anniversary of the total annihilation of our lives.
It's a tragedy Keely Roberts and her family struggle with every day. They attended an Independence Day parade in Highland Park, Illinois in 2022, where a gunman killed 7 people and injured dozens of others, including her son, Cooper.
Do you know how nervous Cooper is every day? Can you imagine the emotions he continues to feel as an 8-year-old who was shot and almost killed and left paralyzed?
But what's behind the surge in summer shootings? Researchers have pointed to the fact that there are more parties with drinking in the summer and how previous studies have shown that hotter weather can raise people's tempers. This comes as reactions continue pouring in from the Surgeon General's comments late last month when he declared gun violence a public health crisis.
We're losing lives, so I think it's much needed.
That was Gary Baumgarten reporting. Police in Chicago, meantime, are searching for the people who shot into a home early this morning, killing 2 women and leaving 3 small children in critical condition. Officers say 2 cars pulled up at that home. Several people got out and began shooting. A 42-year-old woman and a 22-year-old woman were killed in that. 3 boys aged 5, 7, and 8 are in the hospital. Police recovered several shell casings at the scene from a rifle and a handgun.
A number of social media companies, including Meta, now admit training AI models with content generated by users. Some users are even beginning to notice commentary that seems to be generated by AI, mimicking what a real person might say. The practice is also aggravating others who've tried to delete or alter past posts with little to no success. Square watermelon shipments are underway this year in Japan. A farmer in Zentsuji City has been growing the square watermelons for 50 years. The watermelons are often used for decorative purposes rather than eating and can be a little pricey. A total of 400 square watermelons is expected to be shipped out by mid-July. They are so cute. If you're looking to buy one, be prepared to dig into your pockets. It can go for around $100 or more in Japan. A new study looked at how clean and safe tattoo ink is. The results may have you rethinking getting inked.
Plus, this wearable tech developed by NC State researchers could help improve your arm and leg movement. Hear about how the exoskeleton works and why it can be a game changer. Get the stories that matter to you on WRAL's news app. Customize your feed based on categories like education, business, or entertainment. Make sure you have your newest version on your devices.
Some breaking news that we're following here in the WRAL Live Center. Investigators have sent us information regarding this person right here. This is 25-year-old Sherman Miles, and he was arrested involving a crash into an ambulance today, according to Raleigh police. This started around 6:02 this morning. Raleigh police say officers responded to a crash involving that ambulance working for the county. And then the vehicle that struck the ambulance took off before officers arrived. Now, responding officers found that driver, saying that they used emergency equipment to try to stop him, but they didn't say what specifically was used. But eventually, they began a chase, and that only lasted about 4 minutes, finally ending at the intersection of Western Boulevard and Pullen Road. He has been charged with assault with a deadly weapon, simple assault, and speeding to elude arrest with motor vehicle. I should also mention a WRAL employee says she was on her way home and almost was hit.
Researchers say about a third of tattoo inks contain bacteria. It made no difference if the label claimed the ink had been sterilized. The FDA examined sealed ink used for both tattoo and permanent makeup. Among the bacteria discovered were those that can cause acne. This was the first study to look at anaerobic bacteria in tattoo ink.
An NC State engineering professor and students developed a virtual robot to improve human mobility. This demonstration shows a student running with a portable exoskeleton, which weighs 7 pounds. AI technology helps the device learn and adapt to the individual's needs so they can walk, run, or climb steps with less effort. Professor Hao Su says it's designed to help the elderly or others with mobility impairments. The extreme heat can put stress on your heart. How medical experts are urging people to heed the warning signs, not just during the summer months, but all year round.
And yeah, boy! Team USA women's polo, not just going for gold in Paris, they are trying to make history. Now the ultimate hype man who is throwing his support behind this team.
The heat is on this holiday, and as Americans celebrate 4th of July, the American Heart Association is sending out a reminder that scorching temperatures can add stress to the heart.
NBC's Alice Barr spoke to one father advocating for life-saving equipment and training in schools after he nearly lost his young daughter to a sudden cardiac arrest.
This 4th of July week, when the sun is out and the grill is going, a reminder to heed your heart. Because as temperatures rise, so does the risk of cardiac events.
You tend to get dehydrated, and there are other factors that are related to heat that put more stress on the body.
Past president of the American Heart Association, Dr. Gordon Tomaselli, pointing to new research that heat-related cardiovascular deaths may more than double in the coming decades with the effects of climate change.
More extremes of temperature, but also the population's aging. So the number of people at risk is increasing.
Those with pre-existing conditions have the greatest risk, but everyone should be alert and be prepared.
After you're 30, look up, take a breather.
That's especially true in schools, and the summer break offers a chance to gear up for a rare but devastating event.
When Olivia was 6 years old, she survived a cardiac arrest.
Suffering an undiagnosed genetic condition, Joe Quigley's young daughter collapsed in her school gym class.
The school had an emergency medical plan in place, so they knew what to do. They knew how to perform CPR.
But that is not always the case, so Joe teamed up with the American Heart Association to press Congress to pass legislation mandating AEDs and cardiac response plans in every school.
Schools that have AEDs, cardiac arrest survival goes up to about 70%, which is dramatic.
A precious chance at survival.
My daughter's fabulous now. She's 22 years old, a junior in college, and she's living her life.
While her family lives out a mission to arm and educate others about the issue closest to their hearts. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Yeah, technology proven to be lifesavers there, but also practicing those procedures as well. You don't freak out when things happen. You know what to do.
Exactly. And a lot of us know what to do through these high temperatures. We've had these heat waves before, and we're going to get it again throughout the holiday weekend, Kat.
It's really a toasty holiday weekend. We are going to be near the record high for today, and we've already had 4 days this year with high temperatures in the triple digits. The maximum was back in 2012 when we had 12 days at RDU with high temperatures at or above 100. But when you actually look back at the history each year, the average number of 100-degree days is only 1.3. So 4 is still a pretty high number for us. It's 95 degrees in the triangle at the moment. The heat index has gone up since the last time I showed you this map. It feels like 104 right now. And I was looking back at the data at RDU, and so far today, our high has been 96 degrees. So it is hot out there. Upper 80s for Rocky Mount and Goldsboro, as well as Fayetteville right now, but it feels like the upper 90s for many of those places. Feels like 91 in Roxboro. If we look at the heat index forecast through the afternoon, it should be between 100 and 105 degrees for most of us, even past dinner time tonight. So it stays hot, and you can tell the humidity is much higher today. Our dew point 72. A lot more moisture in the air, so that means it feels tropical outside again on our muggy meter. For tomorrow, the heat index could be at 107 and 109 for Goldsboro. I mean, it is really going to be dangerous heat out there tomorrow. We are forecasting a high of 100, so please take care of yourself in this heat. Saturday, high temperatures are going to be back in the upper 90s, and our heat index should be between about 100 and 105. Let's take a look at the numbers. 100 Friday with a 30% storm chance. Saturday, 96 with a better chance for storms both days this weekend. Sunday, a lot more cloud cover and the potential for some of that rain to be early in the day may help to keep our highs in the upper 80s, but that's not necessarily for every city in our viewing area. Check out Carolina Beach today. A lot of tents up on the coast here and a lot of people in the water. 86 degrees there right now. There is a high risk of rip currents today in parts of the Outer Banks. That includes Nags Head, Ocracoke as well in that moderate to high risk. And most of our beaches are under a moderate risk of rip current. So please make sure that if you're headed to the beach, even for the weekend, you review your rip current safety. For tomorrow, high temperatures at the coast should be closer to the upper 80s. So it is going to be heating up at the beach this weekend. Here's your 7-day forecast. It is a hot one. As we get into Sunday and we see more clouds, temperatures back off a little bit. But next week, high temperatures are back in the low to mid 90s, and we have growing storm chances. This doesn't mean you're going to see rain every day. It just means those typical July summertime storms are back. And the higher that chance is, the more storms we'll see on the radar each afternoon. Jeff and Renee?
Anything to help those crunchy lawns right now. Kat, thank you. A masterpiece sells for millions at auction. The fascinating history behind this work of art after the break.
And have a look at your winning Powerball numbers: 2, 26, 33, 55, 57. The Powerball is 22. The Power Play is 2.
Results.
We wrap things up with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today.
We're working to learn the identity of the man who died after troopers say he drove off the road in a stolen car. This was on Cleveland Road in Johnston County, west of Smithfield, around 1 this morning. The WRAL breaking news tracker captured this video of the damage to the vehicle. An official on scene tells us a woman was also in the car.
In just a few minutes, Nightdale will wrap up its first 4th of July celebration without fireworks. The decision happened because of a scary prank during last year's fireworks show. Authorities told WRAL someone lit a fountain firework right in the middle of the crowd. Many people thought that sound was gunfire. Today's event was a different story, with many people celebrating outside.
You'll notice more law enforcement patrolling the roads and waters today and throughout the weekend. Operation Dry Water begins today. Operation Firecracker Booze It and Lose It has already begun. These campaigns promote sober boating and driving during the holiday weekend. Operation Dry Water runs until Saturday. It reminds people to stay vigilant on the water.
A 16th century work of art sells for more than $22 million at a London auction. Not bad for a painting that was found at a bus stop. The rest on the flight into Egypt depicts a young Jesus, Mary, and Joseph resting on their way to Egypt after learning King Herod wanted to kill the baby. It's one of the earliest works of Italian painter Titian. Now, the painting changed hands among various European aristocrats for more than 100 years before French troops stole it in 1809. It was stolen again in 1995 before a detective found it in a plastic bag at a London bus stop.
A breakthrough for women in the National Hockey League. The Seattle Kraken hired Jessica Campbell as an assistant coach, making her the first woman to hold an on-the-bench role in NHL history. Campbell joined the franchise in 2022 as an assistant coach for Seattle's minor league affiliate. She's a former forward who played college hockey with the Cornell Big Red and played professionally in Canada and Sweden.
I know I've been counting it down, but can you believe we are 22 days away now from the opening ceremony for the Paris Olympics? The U.S. women's water polo team hopes to make history as the first team to win 4 consecutive Olympic gold medals. Despite that kind of dominance, the team is still largely unknown to many. Their new hype man hopes to change all that. Enter Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Flava Flav. The clock-wearing co-founder of the 80s rap group Public Enemy is throwing his voice behind the team. Flav got behind the team after seeing an Instagram post from Captain Maggie Steffens, who was making a rallying cry for more people to follow the sport. He plans to sponsor the team for the next 5 years. You can catch all the Olympic action right here on WRAL beginning July 26th.
Well, that got my attention, and I'll be paying attention to U.S. women's polo. Our pet of the day, from the SPCA of Wake County is described by staff as the perfect old man. Parmesan is a 10-year-old neutered male cat who was rescued after he was found living at a vineyard. He's diabetic, receives some daily medication to keep him healthy. Other than that, Parmesan is a laid-back, friendly cat who loves lots of pets and affection. He gets along well with other cats and dogs. If you want to learn more about him, please visit spcawake.org.
All right, coming up, as we said, today at 4, the Summer Olympic Games just a few weeks away, but many of the best swimmers in the world are right here in our area, preparing for the competition in Paris. We'll hear from Katie Ledecky as she works to earn a 4th straight gold medal in the 800-meter freestyle.
All those swimmers training at Triangle Aquatic Center in Cary. Pretty cool. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Be safe if you're out there on the water and wherever you are with all that heat that's out there this weekend. Have a great, safe 4th of July.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.